The phone's display claimed I was connected, but I didn't hear a thing. The hell? Could have been a prank call. I mean, what could have been the point of without hiding her number? Hadn't there been enough phone-related things as of late? Even I might get sick of situations like this if they kept cropping up. She should have done something more elaborate if she wanted to surprise me. This was just lazy, plain and simple, and not the kind of thing you'd think of driving into a punchline. I really wish she would grow up and give these jokes a What was that? I could hear the sickening sound of something crumpling through the speakers. The hell was that sound? It kept going, still as unsettling as before, now accompanied by audible sounds of strained wheezing. Aha. Enough. This stopped being funny ages ago. It almost felt like she was... The harmony of pained wheezing and the sound of meat being mashed. I found it difficult not to imagine what could have been going on at the other end of the line. I began to calmly think, trying to figure out who could be calling from Kasumi's phone. What in the hell was that bastard doing to her? I gripped my phone so hard it cracked, while the scar on my neck began to ache as pure undulated anger washed over my body. That bastard. Did he kidnap Kasumi after we parted ways? The static-like wheezing came to an abrupt halt the moment I pronounced the name. At the same time, I heard a voice that gripped my heart like a gauntlet of steel. It sounded too feeble to be a death scream, and too much like a curse to be an appeal. An eroding wail I would take with me to the grave. And then came a booming laugh. Even I was surprised by how calm my voice sounded. My rage, after skyrocketing past a certain point, must have dulled my emotions. All I had for him was a short, simple declaration. I didn't ask him where he was, but that wouldn't be a problem. My neck began to ache, but the bloodlust welled up inside me. It would tell me where to look for prey. I'd kill him, chop his head off, dye the guillotine red with his blood. For all I had ever been was a substitute prepared for the singular purpose.
まあ、最初の相手としては適当でしょう。今のあなたにちょうどいい。さて、それではお願いしますよ。塩を送るのも、これが本当に最後です。何せ、ここまで来てまだ目が覚めないようであれば、さすがにもう救いようがない。大多数の人々が異教の神々に向いているのに、特別の快楽を司る最古の偶像が人々の心を支配している。知恵が愚行を招き、ベリアルが神の家に居座っている。キリスト者自らもキリストから走り去っているのだから、無事二つ目のスワスチカ完成することを祈らせていただきますよ。ジークハイル・ビクトーリア。
It only took me a mere 10 minutes to reach my destination. A whole 4 kilometers and 10 minutes. And amusingly enough, I hardly even broke a sweat. An Olympian feat for sure. Winning the gold medal would be a cinch for me if I entered. As I arrived at the Suahara seaside park, a burning pain flared in my neck, letting me know the bastard was nearby. I didn't give a damn about what he was up to. I'd made up my mind and knew what I was going to do. Balling my right hand into a fist, I made an effort to feel the power slumbering within. Formation remained beyond my capabilities, and I wasn't particularly skilled at activation either. But I managed to wound Sakurai that night. If I could hit my target, killing them would hardly be impossible. In essence, all I had to do was get close enough to grab him by the throat. Not even a greenhorn like me would miss at such close range. On the other hand, I know very well how difficult the whole getting close part would be. I could no longer afford to back down here, being pressured by necessity. Unless I pulled out my super ultra move, I'd just die like a dog. Super ultra move? What? And if that happened, my thoughts felt quite disconnected. I remained calm, but occasionally came on the verge of snapping. Was that due to my ananerb, or the unbridled anger and impatience that, despite my best efforts, I failed to restrain? Kasumi had to still be alive, right? Having a heroine die this early would have been ridiculous. There was no way someone as predictable as Kasumi wouldn't know a cliche like that. So she had to be alive. Right?
Kasumi.
I ended up unconsciously uttering her name, but the voice that passed through my lips had a pathetic, desperate ring to it. And I'd be lying if I didn't say it didn't ease my pent-up tension. As such, my enemy wouldn't be foolish enough to let this opportunity go to waste. After a flash, I found my right arm wrapped in some kind of wire. It tied me up in an instant, pulling me closer. The whole thing happened so fast I could do nothing to resist, and ended up being dragged a few dozen meters in a state of weightlessness by a power I can only describe as superhuman. The next moment, violent pain shot through me. Unable to land properly due to being constrained, I slammed my back of my head into the ground with tremendous force, to the point where I nearly blacked out. The wire stayed wrapped around my body during the whole ordeal, as an unknown force tied me to a tree, or perhaps a streetlight, robbing me of all freedom. I ended up crucified, not unlike a certain holy man. The wiring felt tightest around my arm and neck, leaving me unable to breathe. My consciousness began to gradually fade out. No, I had to persevere. Fainting here would mean the end, which I admittedly might put me out of my misery, but it would also mean that I came here for no reason. I tried to bite into my tongue in an attempt to keep me from passing out, but ended up putting too much strength into the act, nearly biting the whole thing off. I was choking on my own blood. Shit. I may have managed to keep myself from passing out, but also nearly ended up committing suicide in the process. If that wasn't enough, being strangled hindered my brain's blood flow, making my vision grow dimmer and dimmer with each passing second. Robbed of movement and sight, I could rely only on my senses of smell and hearing to gather information regarding my surroundings. Brush, smash, mash, whack. My ear picked up a highly ominous sound, while my nostrils were filled with a metallic stench powerful enough to make me want to vomit. Felt my face showered by a downpour of fresh coppery blood at fixed intervals, following a steady rhythm akin to a convulsion to a heart. Slash, jink, splish, shh. If I were to imitate the sounds of that live performance, this was basically how they'd sound. Even someone with no sense of imagination could tell what was going on in front of them. The grip of the wire grew stronger, biting into my flesh, scattering blood everywhere. So what I've been hearing for a while now were... the sound of that bastard cutting his victims up into round slices. Whoa, alright. Clenching my teeth, I channeled the entirety of my remaining willpower into staying conscious, while forcing my eyes to dart wildly in all directions in an attempt to regain my vision. I began to see the vague contours of something so horrifying, it made me crave the repose of blindness. Before me was a spider wearing human skin, weaving its way between the nearby trees and streetlights, wearing a mocking smile as it stayed hanging roughly 2 meters above the ground. Sight defying all common sense, almost like a mean prank. Calling out a nightmare would have been an understatement. The hell was up with this freak? I knew I had sworn to leave behind the common sense of my day-to-day life, but was the other side truly this rife with absurdity? A sight laughably removed from all traces of humanity. A thoroughly blatant disregard for human life that could make anyone cry. What did any of these lifeless women do to deserve being strung up there like butterflies caught in a spider's web? Wire strangling my neck robbed me of this ability to speak. The only thing filling me with more rage than this asshole right before me was my own inability to throw an insult at him.
どうやらお気に召さないようですね。あの副首領閣下の演者にしてはまた随分とまともな心をお持ちのようだ。さて、こんな格好で失礼かとは思いますが、改めて自己紹介をいたしましょう。私はシュピーネ。清掃13騎士団黒煙卓第10位、ロート・シュピーネ。以後、お見知りおきよ。
His mock pleasantries only ended up fueling my urge to kill. I gave into my fury in an attempt to tear off the wires still holding me in place, but to no avail. In fact, the more strength I put into it, the deeper they sank into my flesh and bones.
無駄ですよ。今のあなたにそれは切れない。
The wire strangling me grew even tighter. Almost as if possessed by a mind of its own, I assumed Spinna's web was also made out of this. In which case, could this be?
そう。それが私の生物。ワルシャワ月頭で数限りない劣等どもをくびり殺した代物です。歴史こそ浅いものの吸い取った魂は100や200じゃ効きません。同胞ゆえに試したことはありませんが、これに捕らえられたが最後。生産杯芸家といえども脱出できぬ一品であると自負していますよ。
生産杯だと。
おや、ご存じないのですか？おかしいですね。彼はあなたを痛く気に入っているようなのですが。
The divine vessel. I heard Sakurai utter that phrase a while back. Judging from the way they talked about him, I figured it must have been referred to their leader.
しかり、我ら黒煙卓を率いる狩猟代行クリストフ・ローエングリーン。恐ろしく滑稽で道化者ではありますが、油断のならぬお方です。ベイやマレウスからは露骨に警戒されているものの、私はそれなりに信頼していると言っていい。少なくともあの5人に比べれば人間らしい部分をお持ちのようですからね。
Those 5? Who is he talking about? Despite my situation, I still found myself being caught up on meaningless details like that. It may have been barely visible, but Spinna's expression shifted ever so slightly as she mentioned them. Awe, hatred, repugnance, feelings of inferiority, repulsive emotions he had no way of discarding. Was he afraid of his comrades?
よろしい。
Following that short utterance, Spinner hopped onto the ground from his web, then proceeded to walk up to me.
もともと今夜はあなたを殺しに来たのではありません。いささか聞いていただきたいことがありましてね。
Yo, he has some crazy eyes. What? If he didn't come here to kill me, then what was the point? What the hell was this all about?
レオンハルトから聞いたのではないですか？我々は あなたに強くなっていただく必要があると。正直血の気の多い連中では教師に向きませんからね。彼女とそしてこの私が生産杯芸家からその役を仰せつかったというわけです。レオンハルトが講義を、そして私が実技の方を。
Oh.
適材適所というやつですか。
The tension of the wire wrapped about my neck loosened up, but around the same time he said that, making me choke on an excess of oxygen rushing into my lungs.
あちらのあれはあなたにやる気を出していただくよう遊びで用意したものですよ。
ケル
Rage blinded me. Plaything? This lowlife considered killing people a game?
人殺しということならあなたも同じ穴の無地なでしょう。まあそんなことはどうでもいい。せっかく得たこの機会、私は有効活用したいのです。目的を果たすためにも。あなたそれを知りたくはないのですか？
His goal. When I posed the question to Sakurai, she simply dodged it. There was more to this than these freaks wanting to do a battle with me. I had yet to see the full picture, but none of that mattered here. I needed to know if she was still alive.
物事には順序があるのですよ、ザラトゥストラ。あなたの疑問にはこちらの要件が済んでから答えましょう。私はいささか他の連中と趣が異なる変わり種でしてね。
Spinning went on, his lips curling into a smirk.
先ほども言いましたが、今現在我々を率いているのはクリストフ、すなわち生産杯芸家です。しかし彼は結局のところ代行に過ぎない。
代行？
そう、つまり仮の名手ということですね。一時的な今だけの期間を限定された権力ゆえに、本来の狩猟閣下がお戻りになればその大半を剥奪されることになる。そうしたことからこの数日に及ぶ事態の引き延ばし、彼が権力の座に固執しているからではないかと、まあ米あたりは思っているかもしれません。実際真偽のほどは分かりませんがね。ただ私が見る限り、あの方はそこまで俗な欲望を持っているようには思えない。ですのでベイやマレウスの邪推をそらし、いらぬ横やりが入らぬようにするという条件のもと、それが今のあなたと第一に接触させていただく権利。骨を折りましたよ。実際ここまでこぎつけるのはね。
Spinay recounted his goals in a jovial tone, his gaze replete with condescension. Too bad I couldn't care less about their power struggles and factional disputes.
生産杯芸家は権力の座や栄華栄奪など滋賀にもかけない、むしろ鬱陶しいとさえ思う御人だ。狩猟代行の地位などあの方にとっては罰ゲームのようなものでしょう。私にはそれがわかる。なぜなら真にそれを欲しているのがこの私なのですからね。良いですか、サラツストラ。あなたも覚えておきなさい。手を結ぶなら自己と正反対である人種の方が信用できるものなのですよ。私は黒煙卓を掌握したい。いや、別に同胞たちを虐げたいわけではない。ただ約束させたいのですよ。この60年、他の者らにとっては屈辱と退屈の期間だったかもしれません。だがしかし私にとってはかけがえのない至福の時だったと言っていい。
Oh boy.
誰にも縛られず命令されず自由に生を謳歌できた。殺したい時に殺し、食らいたい時に食らい、犯したい時に犯し、奪いたい時に奪う。これこそが人間。 今さら過去の遺恨や妄執に付き合うなどくだらなすぎてごめんこむる。そのためにあの5人には英語を眠っていてほしいのですよ。あなたがここにいる以上メルクリウスの再来を防ぐのは困難でしょうが、それもまた不可能ではない。サラトゥストラ、私と手を組みませんか。あなたの力をお借りできれば共に英語の自由を獲得することも夢ではない。
何？
Join him? What the hell did he...
言ったでしょう。私はね、もはや誰の下にもつきたくない。それが怪物の下ならなおさらだ。
怪物？
黒煙卓の首領、副首領、そしてその下に付き従う
Whoa.
3人の大隊長。
Samuel? Samuel? Machina? Schreiber? The Golden Beast and Hermes Trismegistus. It would have been no exaggeration to label them as monsters who lived only for war.
そう。私は彼らに二度と会いたくない。
Okay. I noticed that Spinner's smile had since faded. The spider's body began to tremble ever so slightly. My suspicions were correct. He had developed an abnormal fear of those five, wishing to never serve under them again.
もう分かったでしょう。我々の目的、いえ、私以外の者らの望みは、あの5人をこちらに呼び戻すことです。そうすることで、彼らは個々の望みを達成できる。かつて副首領閣下は言いました。怒りの火まで、おのおの魂を蓄えよ。時至れば、それに見合った祝福を与えようと。なぜ我々が人を殺し、魂を簒奪するか。答えは単純な足し算ですよ。1000人分の命を持てば1000倍の生命力を獲得できる。このシャンバラで起こるのはそのストックを増やすための殺人競争遊戯です。大量の魂が懺悔した場は戦場跡として法人と化し、それが8つ揃えばあの5人が戻ってくる。そして奪った魂に相当する新たな力を授けてくれる。だが私は嫌だ。
Oh boy.
もうたくさんだ。あんな人とも呼べぬ怪物たちに再び隷属するなどと。考えただけで狂いそうになる。二度とあの5人には会いたくない。彼らはこの世に戻ってきてはいけない存在なのですよ。
Palpable dread colored Spinner's tone as he spoke. He held my head between his hands and continued on his desperate tirade.
彼らが完全な形で限界するには8つのスワスチカが必要です。しかし不完全なままでよければおそらく2つ3つでも構わないはず。ならば今もひょっとして私の裏切りを聞いているかもしれない。恐ろしい。そしておぞましいのですよ、ザラトゥストラ。クリストフも私の真意は知らないはずだ。今ならまだこの儀式を妨害して中止に導くこともできるでしょう。ですからさあ早くあなたの真の力を見せてください。これ以上スワスチカを増やしてはいけない。そして共に黒煙卓を制圧しましょう。
So about Kasumi? Honestly, this was a lot to take in at once, and my mind was still riddled with questions. I'd need more time to process all of the details, but one thing I could already declare with certainty: Spinner was trembling with fear. Despite being the walking image of moral bankruptcy, a murderer capable of killing countless innocents, his words sounded so petty, I found myself thoroughly astounded.
つまりお前は連中の中でも凡人だっていうことだな。
Sako. A man who feared his oppressors, and a cowardly dumbass who only knew how to torment the weak. It was nothing more, nothing less. I wasn't trying to stand up for Wilhelm, Rosalka, or Sakurai, but as enemies, I would at least categorize them as worthy opponents. This guy, on the other hand...
タコ野郎。ブサイクな面で気持ちの悪いこと言ってんじゃねえ。お前はアホだ。臆病な凡人のくせに頭も悪い。
Why would he show me all this stuff only to ask for my assistance in the end? I was no champion of justice, but I hadn't shed my humanity to the point where I could look at all this cruelty done to women and feel nothing. Did he seriously think that robbing me of what I held dear would somehow free me? It was no more than an ordinary guy. Albeit crazy, a weakling, yet fucked up in the mind. A disgusting half-baked wretch. How goddamn full of himself could he be?
死んじまえよカス。鏡見て出直してこい。
Eh?
だからてめえ近いんだよブサイクが。
With the wire around my neck now loose enough, I mustered all my strength to deliver a headbutt right into Spinner's face. It was sent flying backwards, just as I had planned. A physical attack of this caliber wouldn't even inflict a single scratch on Wilhelm, but this guy didn't seem that sturdy.
なんだ。やっぱり弱いじゃんか、お前。
I'd resort to whatever I could use at this point, but be it provocation or trash talking, I felt droplets of blood trickle down my forehead after I smashed my head open in that attack, but a wound of this caliber barely even hurt. Incomplete or not, I still had my unnerved slumbering within my body, which meant I had no trouble with most injuries. And then... Nothing easier to predict than a weakling succumbed to anger. He gave into his emotions and sent me flying with a kick. As a result, I was blown away, along with the lamppost I'd been propped up against. Well, I was willing to give the guy some credit. He really did exhibit superhuman strength. No average man could bend an iron lamppost like that, nor kick me so hard to make me feel like my organs were jutting out of my mouth. Compared to the rest of the freaks I faced,
この程度じゃ劣等だろ、お前。
at least I could count on his stupidity. The lamppost he broke allowed me to escape. I rose to my feet, making sure not to let the pain in my stomach twist my expression.
うるせえバカ。しっかり喋れ。
Anyway, we now stood on equal footing. It was a bit of a lengthy prologue, truth be told, but the fight could now begin for real, and he was perfect as a first opponent.
交渉決裂だシュピーネ。霞にちょっかいかけた時点でお前はぶっ殺すって決めてんだよ。さあ約束したろ。つまらん話を我慢して聞いたんだから、あいつが無事かどうか今すぐ答えろ。
Spinne responded with a shrill laugh, and a moment later, one of the women strung up on the spiderweb above was sliced up in like a piece of ham, scattering a mixture of blood and gust as she exploded in numerous lumps of gore.
あのざまで生きていると思うのですか。全員残らず例外なくくびり殺してしまいましたよ。
Well, rip.